All right, well, we have a special quick little tier list before we get into the overall review of Galaxy Quest that our own Epic Mike has put together.
Yeah. All right, it should
Are
be up.
you ready?
I'm
There we
ready.
go. We're going to do a quick tier list of the Star Trek movies with Galaxy Quest involved, and we're only doing the ones that Captain Kirk was a part of.
Yeah,
All right,
only
so we're
Captain
not
Kirk.
doing Next Generation or,
Nope.
but
Free
if he was
Enterprise.
involved in it, I think he's in there. Right? He's in Generations, right? We have
Yep.
that one.
He's in
Yeah. So
Generation. Yep.
any movie that Captain Kirk is, I know we didn't want to take up too much time, so and then we'll see if Galaxy Quest is actually ranks higher than some of these Star Trek films.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna start. I'll start at the top. Just give me. You can give me a brief little explanation if you need to. Just give me your ranking. If you don't know about the movie, just abstain. But you can give your thoughts if you hear everybody else talking about it. All right, we're gonna start number one. Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Jay.
Man, it's the one that started it all, but it had a bald lady in it.
Oh, no.
And this was all about like the satellite dish coming back home,
Yeah.
right?
V'ger,
Yep.
yeah.
Feature.
That's a
Yeah.
V'ger.
I'm going with
V'ger.
C. C.
Whoa,
I'm going
Moan.
C.
that's crazy. Mo.
So I hate to say it, I gotta give it an A. It's different than all the other movies. They were trying to. It was based off of Phase 2. They were going to bring back a TV series, but they turned it into a movie. I love the vibe in the movie. It gave us the Klingons as we know them now. That was the first appearance. Was in that movie with the ridged forehead, and I love the kind of chill 2001: A Space Odyssey kind of vibe throughout the entire thing. I think it gets way less love because of what came right after it. So while it wasn't the same as the TV shows or the movies, that's kind of why I like it so much. So I gotta say, I gotta give it an A.
Here we go. Blaine.
Yeah, I think I'd put it so on Criticalist I have it at a 64%. So I that's probably like a B. I saw it for the first time just like a couple of years ago because I reviewed it on a live stream that I was on, and it's kind of weird because it's almost like this like indie art house Star Trek movie. It was apparently like basically an episode that they drug out into a movie, and so you get like these long shots going around the Enterprise for like 30 minutes, and but I mean you get like shag carpeting and stuff in some scenes, which is pretty rad. But yeah, I mean it's not like the best thing ever, but it's not a bad movie. I had fun with it.
There you go. So you're giving it a B. All right.
Yeah.
Sevi.
Just to save you the trouble, I have not watched any of the old Star Trek. I only watched the new one. Just to save you the trouble.
That's wild. Yeah. I
That's
kinda
good to
figured.
know.
Yeah.
Seven's like, hey, don't even come to me on this list.
No.
Yeah,
You
no,
know
I mean,
nothing of Joy. You don't know Jim Henson. You don't know Star Trek.
well,
Come
some of
on,
the
girl,
stuff
get
is
with it.
just really old.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's not even that way old. Oh my gosh. Jonas.
Yeah, I'm going to say that this is a movie that just kind of happened. I don't feel like it was that influential, except that it got them to make Wrath of Khan, and it does one of the greatest sins that a movie can do. They linger on special effects shots that don't necessarily drive the story forward. There's some really cool stuff. Like the theme from this movie ends up being the theme of Star Trek: The Next Generation. But most of the things that I like about that are attached to Star Trek: The Next Generation. So obviously the movie had to happen for everything else to happen. So I give it credit there. The uniforms, not quite right. They're kind of weird. They never use those uniforms again. I'm putting this like right on that borderline between B and C.
You gotta pick one. Come on, man.
I'm gonna go with B because I got to save something else for C.
There you go. I respect it.
The chat is just going hard on Sevi. Sorry, Sevi.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
As long as they're being
it's
respectful.
okay. No, they are, and it's okay. I mean, I have a lot of stuff to watch for sure.
That's
and-
why she's here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this gives me a good opportunity to kind of find out what's good and what to watch. So I'm excited to, after you guys do the list, and I will know what to watch.
Look
There
at
you
that.
I like this movie, but also I realize it does not age well. And the influence from 2001: Space Odyssey is very apparent, which actually makes Star Trek worse because Star Trek is not 2001: A Space Odyssey. I might be a little bit more brutal on this, and I love Star Trek. I'm actually probably going to give this one a C as well.
Ooh.
I appreciate
Who gave it an
what
A,
did.
Mo?
Yeah,
Stand by
Mo.
what I said. I said
But
what I
also,
said.
but also because it's sitting in the shadow of the next movie that we're going to talk about. So average, Mo gave it an A, which is wildly high. I think overall it's kind of settling on B. I think that's where everybody, the general consensus is not the worst, but it's not great. We'll put it at B. And we'll just ignore
That's fair.
Mo giving it an A. Next one up, Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan.
S
Jay?
tier.
Best here.
There it is.
Yes.
S tier.
Mo, will you calm down?
I got excited.
I'll get to you.
Damn.
I can
All right.
watch this movie over and over, man. I can watch. I love this film. The thing that's really cool is like a lot of this movie is just shot on like the decks of both ships, except when they go explore like Genesis. But other than that, it's like the decks of both ships. It's just so freaking cool.
Yeah,
So
I
I love
respect
this.
it.
I love this film.
I love the way
S-tier
that
from Jay.
Ricardo Montalban talks. It's so
We're skipping Mo because obviously he doesn't have his thoughts yet. He needs time to compose himself and figure out what he's thinking. Blaine,
You
Oh, yeah.
you showed up 20 minutes late to the stream. You were eating still. All right. You don't get
Yeah.
to get.
that's why I showed up late. Yeah, I was
All right.
making dinner.
Go ahead.
Blaine, what do you think
Yeah,
about
I'm-
The Wrath of Khan?
I'm there with the S tier club. This is this is the one when people talk about Star Trek movies, like this is the one you talk about. Now, granted, I've not seen it in ages, but from everything I can remember, that's where I'd stick it. This is kind of the GOAT.
Yeah,
Bro, that scene in this film where he's like, continue nodding, Spock, as if I'm giving orders, and he's getting ready to wreck freaking Khan. It's just so, that is so Captain Kirk.
oh yeah.
I love that scene where he's like, sir, our shields are he goes, well, raise them! Raise them! I can't!
That's crazy.
Oh, dude, it was such a good scene. Sorry.
oh yeah,
I got excited too.
dude. Absolutely. Jonas, we'll get to you, Mo.
Oh, this is great. This is a great movie, and I actually know somebody who offered to send me a replica based off of the original mold of the little ear thing that they use, and then they steal those for the 2009 Star Trek, which we're not going to talk about.
Yeah.
This movie is great. It is everything that Star Trek can be. The movie Captain Kirk matches the television Captain Kirk, which is something that the Next Generation was never able to pull off with Picard in the movies versus Picard in the show. It's like a completely different person. Great. S tier.
Boom. Yeah, this is an S tier. It's still to this day the best Star Trek movie ever made. Ricardo Montalban is so good. One of the greatest villains
Yeah.
in all of sci-fi. He is so amazing in this movie. And yeah, it just gets better with age. So I'm definitely giving it an S tier. And Mo, have you got your thoughts together? Are you good?
I'm good. It is an S tier
Uh-oh.
because of Ricardo Montalban and Kirk overacting where he goes, "Gone!"
That's so
is great, but the whole entire thing was fantastic. I loved the stakes and the interplay between Kirk and Spock. Hate to spoil it. Somebody said no spoilers. Want to spoil it? The still gets me choked up at the funeral at the end. It's just it's too much. It's great. It's a great movie. You laugh, you cry, and you cheer for the good guys, and
Well, when the
sometimes for the bad
spoiler-
guys.
When the spoiler is the title of the next film, you know?
Well, it's just like the one scene, like Kirk just is so masterful of messing with Khan's ego. You know, he's like, you're gonna have to come down here. You know, it's like it's just so good. The dialogue is freaking great. Anyway, I
Yeah.
might watch this movie tonight when the
There
show
you
is
go.
over.
All
That's how much I love
We want to make this next week's movie. I mean, I would not.
Wrath
I would
of
not
Khan.
against that.
Wrath of Khan.
I'm gonna make Sevi watch 1 and 2 for next week. Right?
Let's go.
We'll
That's
see.
actually not a bad idea. All right, well, that's all S tiers right across the board. Look at
All
that.
downhill from
Beautiful.
here.
Now the next one up, Search for Spock. Jay,
I'm gonna give it an A. I liked Christopher Lloyd as a Vulcan. The
Excuse me?
Genesis thing was kind of weird of them like aging rapidly. But we had another emotional scene where it's like Kirk's son dies, you know? So it's like David, and like the Vulcan's like, David is dead, you know? Like, that's the end of it. And I think this is the first time where people actually felt emotion for a starship,
Mm.
right? When the Enterprise gets blown up, people were like, yeah, it's old. It is what it is.
Yeah.
People felt a lot of emotion for the Enterprise blowing up.
Yeah.
So I give it an A. It's not S, but it's definitely it's high A for me, like very high A.
Oh yeah. I respect
This
it.
one was
Mo? Oh, go ahead.
Huh? Oh, so it's okay if Jonas talks.
sorry.
about it.
I was
Yeah,
getting
okay.
excited about the movie there.
All right.
Mo.
So I give it a B.
Oh.
Just be.
Oh no,
Oh.
Yeah,
you didn't care about the destruction of the Enterprise.
Yeah.
Well, like I do with my other ratings, I got to rate it against all the other movies, and I think there's better ones. It's good. I really like it,
Huh.
and I think it's good. Christopher Lloyd brings it up from a C. Like I thought the plot was a little.
Brings it up from a C.
Eh.
Brings it up
Yeah,
from
brings
a
it up from
C,
C.
huh?
Yeah, well, it just wasn't my personal favorite because of all the other movies that were around it, but I really enjoyed it because Christopher Lloyd couldn't do no wrong in the 80s. Like he was just amazing in every movie he was in, and he was a ruthless Klingon, more so than we've actually seen in other movies, not by strength but by cunning and wit and stuff like that. So I thought it was good. I love the way he eats it, where he goes, "I have had enough of you." It was so Kirk.
It was.
So I would say B, bordering on A, but I'm going to commit to a letter, so I'll say B.
Really brought the energy
Dragging
there a
it
little
down. Wow, everybody,
Yeah.
everybody else. Anyway.
bit. Blaine?
I have to abstain from this one. I have not seen this one.
That's okay. We forgive you. Jonas.
Really? You never saw the follow-up film?
No, I hadn't. I'm trying to remember the others if I've really seen them. I mostly watched the newer stuff when I was young. The older stuff like this I saw when I was older and just like would pop in and watch it. But I think we were talking in our chat where it's like the first like film I actually saw was the Borg movie in theaters, and that was like what really kicked off my interest in it when I was like 7 or 8.
Movie is so tight.
It's killing me.
Yeah.
Jonas?
Well, so Nimoy directed this one, and also Doc Brown as a Klingon. Also John Larroquette, because I don't know why. I watched a lot of Night Court as a kid, but he's also a Klingon in this.
That's
I
right.
really enjoyed this. Then also there's the stuff where they were really pushing forward with the CGI in this. For this one is an A for me for sure.
Mm.
Yeah, I respect it. Yeah, I'm basically the same way. I really like The Search for Spock. It's not, dude, nothing touches The Wrath of Khan, but it's a good Star Trek movie. I really enjoy it. Yeah, I remember even as a kid loving this movie. Not as much as Wrath of Khan, but still really enjoying this movie. I'd give it an A. That leaves Mo with the only one that gave it a B, so we'll just kind of ignore that B and just stick it in A. I respect your opinion, though. It's okay. All right. Star Trek: The Journey Home.
Voyage Home.
Your Voyage Home. Sorry.
I'm gonna put
it's already an
this.
S tier. Wow.
I'm gonna put this in low S tier.
Low S tier.
I love this film. I thought it was so creative, and like the way that they needed a freaking whale to come back, you know, to stop the aliens. I just thought it was so freaking creative, and they rescued a whale from a horrendous aquarium, and to see Spock like in like America during that time and trying to understand cursing in the culture was just freaking hilarious, because he was funny with not being like unintentionally funny. So I love how they did that, you know, how they did the whole like time travel, trying to figure it out. You know, I thought this was a perfect mix of humor, and I loved it. So it's not as good as Wrath of Khan, but it's right behind it. This is my second favorite Star Trek.
Well, there we go. Mo?
I would give it a. You know what? I gotta give it an S tier. It was one of my favorite movies. To watch.
There we
Hey,
go.
I give it an S tier mainly for one scene because it was hilarious. Where he goes, "Computer."
Oh, that scene is perfect.
Yeah, it's so. But there's like
transparent aluminum.
which they actually invented in recent years. They actually made a transparent aluminum. But the whole movie's great. Like when Bones goes by the old lady in dialysis in the hospital, he goes, "What is this? The Dark Ages?" And gives her like a what looks like a piece of candy, and she's like, "Woo!" At the
You got a new kidney.
yeah, it just grew one immediately. Yeah, but the whole thing was just good. The beginning of the movie was great when they're hanging out and they're drinking Romulan ale, which you're not supposed to have. You know, they have contraband. The whole movie, yeah, nuclear vessels. I saw in the chat. It was great pacing. It was a great movie. It was obviously during the 80s where saving the whales was the big deal. That's why it was part of the movie. So I loved it. And the special effects were really good. That thing that talked to the whales was really foreboding and creepy, and it looked like it existed. So it was all around. It was pretty good. Oh, and when they go through the time travel and they see all the faces come up out of that like all the CGI in the movie was amazing for the time. I just thought it was a great movie. Great time travel movie.
Nice. Blaine.
I have also not seen this one. I'm failing, guys.
Yeah,
I'm failing.
go check
It's-
out criticalist.com. Just reviewing movies over. I'm just kidding. All right. I know Sevy's seen this movie and is going to give it an S tier. Jonas?
I like this one. Also, I'm just going to point out that this is a Star Trek movie, but it's set in current day. They're not even on the Enterprise because they're on a Klingon bird of prey. And again, it's another one that's directed by Leonard Nimoy. Has a great sense of humor and is still everything that you love about that cast. I think this one, I gotta say, if there's I don't know what I would put between Wrath of Khan and this, but I'm gonna say just short an A tier.
Okay.
But above Search for Spock.
Almost there, but not quite. I got you. Yeah, I actually really enjoy this movie a lot too. I haven't seen this movie since I was a kid. But I remember the whales and I thought the time travel was really, really freaking cool. I don't have as like, I don't know how timeless it is because I haven't seen it in such a long time. But honestly, I don't really have an argument against it not being an S tier movie because I remember how much I enjoyed the whales and stuff as a kid. So I'm just going to put it in S tier. It's young Mike talking. So there we go. And yeah, I mean, I think overall that's one A tier and everything else is S tier. So, all right, we're almost done. We got 4 more.
No, we're good.
Yeah. All right, Star Trek: The Final Frontier. Jay?
This is the one William Shatner directed, right?
Yep.
Where they went to find God. And I don't really remember this because it sucked balls. So I'm going all the way down to like D.
Go.
I think I only watched it once where they went to go find God, right? And it wasn't God. All I
Right.
remember is Captain Kirk going, "What does God want with a starship?" And you're kind of like, "Oh no, they're not doing that, are they?"
That's pretty good. Mo?
D. The whole storyline with this stupid ass half brother and like it was just crap. It wasn't even worth one watch. It was just garbage. D. It belongs at the
Oof.
bottom.
What was
Man.
William Shatner thinking?
Yeah. Blaine?
Yeah, I remember that this one was really bad, and that's all I really remember. But yeah, so I mean, go ahead and stick it down in D.
There you go. Jonas?
Is there? I haven't made a ton of tier lists. Is there a tier below D?
There's not today
Okay,
because
D,
in Star
for
Trek,
sure.
you can't really fail a Star Trek movie.
Yeah. I mean, even as a kid, I was confused as to why Cybok shows up out of the blue and why they would believe anything he says, and then they have to blow up a floating head with a laser cannon. It's so weird. It's so weird.
What do you give this one? D?
D.
Yeah. Yeah, this one I do not remember fondly at all. And this is the one where it felt like William Shatner was like, "Well, he got to direct one. Can I direct one?" And then
Was the beginning of this film where Shatner was like, he was climbing a rock, right, a mountain, just to show how cool he was, and he almost was that this one or was that the next one?
Yeah, this one starts at Yosemite Park. So I would,
Okay.
if there was a something to point out, they do have a marshmallow maker that they have in one of the early scenes.
Yeah,
And I wanted one of those things so bad. Why do those not exist?
That's crazy.
Like a little, like a handheld, almost like
called
a flashlight.
marshmelon, right? Isn't that what they called it?
I don't know, but he presses a button and it creates a marshmallow. I mean, they got replicators and things like that, so they could have done it that way. But whatever this device is, push a button, makes a marshmallow.
Yeah, this movie's booty, bro. D. Everybody's giving it a D. I think it would have gone an F if we had an F tier.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Star Trek, The Undiscovered Country.
I'm going A.
Ooh,
I liked
respect
it.
that. I respect that.
I liked it. I mean, I think they did the best that they could do. You know, as like they were getting older, and but I enjoyed the film. I enjoyed the dog fighting scene at the end.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was really cool where they had to put gas on that missile, and once they got to hit it, you know, I thought that was pretty cool.
There you go. Mo?
Boy, I got to give it an S tier. This is one of these ones I ran ragged on HBO back in the day whenever it was on, because Christopher Plummer, where he's like, "Cry havoc, let
Yeah.
loose the dogs of war," like
That's
because he
pretty
lost
good.
his mind. And the whole like thing with Kim Cattrall's character, I can't remember her name, and Spock, where she's like trying to be subversive, and like there's all this espionage and stuff. You have Kurtwood Smith as the Chancellor, which he's awesome in everything. But the whole thing was just like a really it was like one of the episodes where it made you think more in the original Star Trek. It wasn't like all action, which there was some in there, but I thought it was really good. It kept you thinking. It was a great mystery, and it was a great movie. If I may just let you know what I think about that.
Phone has gone out.
That's good.
Yeah, the audio
That's
went
true.
crazy.
That
Yep.
was wild, dude. I thought it was just me for a second there.
It's like you sound muted. We can hear you, but it sounded like you went from your mic to webcam mic.
Yeah.
That's been happening in a lot of streams with everybody. It's so annoying, but okay.
Yeah.
So great movie, has Kurtwood Smith, great espionage film, great Star Trek film. It was like
Never
an
heard
old
all
TV
that.
episode. S tier. Okay,
S tier. There we go.
there you go.
I
Blaine?
respect it.
Yeah.
This is another one I have not seen. It sounds like I need to though.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
Havoc.
Yeah.
Huh.
Apparently, Wikipedia says that it touched on the Cold War. So
Don't
there's
read
that.
Wikipedia for Star Trek reviews. Oh my gosh. Jonas.
Wait, is this the one where the Vikings? Listen to me. The moon exploded, right? The right? Is that what happened? Am I thinking of the right film at the beginning?
I think that might be Star Trek.
And they had to move the Klingons to another place because their planet exploded or
No, that's
something?
No.
I think you're thinking of the Vulcans in the Chris Pine Star Trek.
Yeah, it was 09
Hmm.
Star Trek.
Sorry. People are saying yes. That's true.
Is it?
See, I am right. How do you say you watched this movie a million times and you don't remember, Mo? What's wrong with you?
Yeah,
You are
Yeah.
correct,
Mo
Jay.
for
Thank
the
you.
mistake I made.
Man, Mo. I'm concerned.
No,
Who's the
Jay
more
is
foolish?
right. Look at that.
Who's the more foolish, the fool or the fool who follows? I might be stupid, but Jonas went right behind me. So
Yeah, but you just quoted a Star Wars film for Star Trek.
I'm multifaceted.
Yeah. Jonas, what do you think of this?
This was like a crazy good film. It's great sci-fi. Like there's a lot about it to really enjoy, like the spacesuits with the magnetic feet on them. The fact that when the Klingons get murdered, like their blood is kind of pink. That they go to prison and for some reason it looks exactly like Worf from the Next Generation. It's because he's played by Michael Dorn.
Yeah.
Christopher Plummer is fantastic in it. David Warner is in this, and of course, it's got the great original cast. Also, Iman plays a shapeshifter. Not a bad-looking shapeshifter when she's a lady.
Yeah.
There's a lot to enjoy about this film, and has that great line about you haven't experienced Shakespeare until you've heard it in the original Klingon. There's a lot of things like that is just so good about this film. So S tier.
Yeah. I am also going to give this S tier. I really enjoyed
I'm okay
this.
with it.
Yeah, as a kid, I really enjoyed this movie, and then watching it again as an adult, that zero gravity scene, like where they're just like the bodies and stuff floating, and was kind of haunting and chilling to me. But yeah, it's a good movie overall. I had a really great time with it. It's a nice little send off to those guys. So yeah, I absolutely give it an S tier, and I think overall, I think S tier is right where it belongs. So, all right, we got two more. Generations. The very first Next Generation movie. Jay?
I think I'm gonna go. That's when they went into the ribbon.
Yep.
It was kind of weird. I'm gonna give it a C. I don't like how Captain Kirk died. He died twice in that film, and that's not how he should have went out. And the second time he died, he just fell off a cliff, and he's like, and he just like dies. That's like, that's not cool. He should have died like a freaking warrior, like in the starship.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Or in the arms of a woman.
Or both.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Mark Smith says, so much for Galaxy Quest. Bro, we do it we're doing it at 7.
Come on now. We're doing our best. Mo's holding us all up.
I say Generations is a C. I'd almost give it a D, but there is some the villain was great. What's his name? Jeez, I'm drawing a blank. Hold on, the guy from Clockwork Orange.
Ian McDowell.
Ian McDowell. Yep.
Time is the fire in which we all burn is a great line. He's like, he saves it. He brings it up from a D, but it's good. They killed Picard's family off screen, which was stupid. It really annoyed me. They kill, Kirk going out. It was just a mess. That was not a handoff that needed to happen. They could have just went right into the Next Generation. It would have been fine. I liked it when I was younger, but I proceeded to hate it each year that passed by. So,
yeah.
Malcolm McDowell. That was his name. Yeah.
Here to serve.
I thought it was Ian as well. So, yeah.
As long as it's not Andy McDowell.
All right. Blaine?
I remember liking this a lot, but I have not seen this since I was a kid. So, it's kind of one of those things when you watch stuff back. Well, and also I was a big fan of Next Generation when I was younger, so I thought it was super cool. But I'd probably give it like a B. I'm guessing it's just been so long.
Probably would have been better off saying I don't remember this film.
Listen. Child me wanted to vote. He was feeling left out, but that's fine.
What did you give it again?
A B.
Huh. Jonas?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna say I'm more of a Next Generation fan because I started with Next Generation and then went back and watched the original series. So as a Next Generation film, I would rank this higher, but as a original series movie, I would have to put this at either B or C. There's really not much for the original series cast to do other than just kind of stand there and be like, we're kind of great, aren't we? And plus, it's not Kirk in his prime. He's kind of wistful. It's not quite a Jake Skywalker moment, but they don't really respect the character of Captain Kirk. He's there to be the guy that dies, which is really disappointing. I like the film, but as a original series film, I'm going to have to put it as a C.
Respect that. Yeah, I recently went back and watched this movie, and I am a Next Generation guy. But this is not how you do like the blending, like the handing of the torch. There definitely should have been more like, hey, we can teach you things just like like there could have been a lot more here that we just didn't get. And yeah, they do Kirk very dirty, just like throw him off the side of a cliff on like a hunky piece of metal. And then Picard's like, yeah, I like buried him on this rock. So like, well, he's back there somewhere. Yeah, it's pretty rough. Also, they did my boy Data dirty in this film, with his emotion chip and how annoying he is through like the first half of this movie. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I would also give it a C. It's just not there. And I think C is where it sits. And now, last but not least, Jay, Galaxy Quest.
A. Right there. I think that's a perfect spot for Galaxy Quest.
There we go.
I love this film.
Yeah.
It still made me laugh. I just watched it yesterday, and it was just like, there's some scenes that just make, oh man, it just made me laugh. So, and we're gonna go over some of them really, really quickly.
Yeah.
So,
Mo?
A. I mean, the things that are in the S tier, they're just amazing. But Galaxy Quest does give so much reverence and love to the Star Treks. It belongs with it because it made people understand like how people really care about Star Trek and all the things that come with it. So A.
There we go. Blaine?
Same. A for me too. Like you said, a lot of respect. It could have been a really stupid spoof, like a lot of things are, where it just made fun, but instead it handled this, homage to Trek with respect, which was really cool and surprising.
Yeah. Savvy?
8.
A. Look at that. Just A's across the board. Jonas?
I'm gonna say S because it doesn't matter at this point. It's gonna be an A.
I respect it.
I love the movie. This is one that you can put on anytime and enjoy it, and it's pretty clean, other than somebody's costume kind of ripping down the front there.
Yeah, I definitely had no complaints about that.
Right. I was like, are we complaining about the best part of the movie here? What's
No,
going on?
I'm just talking about watching it with my kids.
Yeah,
They'll really be interested in Star Trek after that.
Yeah, I actually love Galaxy Quest, and I am very biased, but I would also give it an S. I love this movie. It is so ahead of its time, in actually honoring Star Trek fanboys and capturing the zeitgeist of what we have now all experienced as fans, watching, people that we loved growing up age, watching, like them kind of fall into obscurity, and then also kind of watching them come back in like a reboot and how they handled that and how they even came to that conclusion. I don't know. There's just a lot here that ages really well. And also, Alan Rickman is one of the best actors of all time.
yeah,
He's amazing.
So overall, it gets an A. But there we go. That's our list, and we filled every category. So
I love it.